Good morning, or wait, let me change my mic. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, cool. And then I guess the meeting's already recording, yeah, so we're good to go there. It looks like. Cool. Yeah. So I came back to Japan. Not that anyone cares about that, but yeah, I guess we'll wait a bit more for people to join. If this is anyone's first time on here, we're doing it like slightly different than usual. Usually we just have people join and then we just pretty much talk about anything like Q&A or anyone has jobs recently. We just like talk about random stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Nice. But this time I kind of gathered up some questions like in the community board, and I'll just kind of go through them one at a time. And then we can still just have like open discussion and Q&A and stuff like this. So anyone can just like, start talking if there's dead space. But if there's a bunch of people talking, feel free to like use the hand raising button at the bottom if you want, and we'll like call on you and you can talk. But yeah, Stephen Cruz, I'm in the area. I forgot, are you in Korea? Are you actually like in Japan right now, Stephen? Oh, nice. Oh, that's dope. Are you in Tokyo or the Tokyo area? Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, another CyberRange member was actually here like a couple of weeks ago. Kieran, his name is like Koenig Kieran, and we like met up a couple times and hung out and like went and ate sushi and stuff. It was like pretty dope. So if we're in the same area, we should like hang out or something. Hey Shamar. Okay, let me share my screen and stuff. So I'll just like start going through like the questions and answers, and then if anyone has like any like random question, just feel free to like start talking or anything. I'll probably try to make people talk, but I see more people are joining. So yeah, basically we're just gonna do like an open Q&A type thing. Let me share my screen. Thanks for recording the meeting too. So let me know when this starts working. You guys can see this. Andrew, first time here, so I'll probably listen. Oh yeah, sounds good. I did post a question. Okay, if you posted it, I probably recorded it. Oh no, I name in here. Yeah, so I'll just like start going through the questions, I guess, and then I can, if people want to. Oh, 15 seconds ago. Okay, let me try to get it. CyberRange. Oh, did this get unpinned? Oh yeah, it did. Let me see your question. Well, somehow I don't see your. Oh, this thing. Okay. I'll just like go through this. Oh, not this one. And then we can kind of, feel free to like jump in anytime. But basically an explanation for people. I made this thread. Oh my God, where is it? Like this week's call, just ask questions. And then people put a bunch of questions in here, stuff they want to talk about. And then I just recorded them in this spreadsheet. So I'll just like kind of go through this and then answer it the best I can. But first one is from Peter Van Rossum. I'm so sorry if I'm like mispronouncing anyone's name on here, but he said, like, could you elaborate on the long form content creation line item in the roadmap document? The dropdown has NIST special publications referenced as well as a lab, but I'm unsure what's expected of me here. I didn't hear it discussed in the video. So basically, like what he's talking about, there's like a cybersecurity roadmap, which is this thing. It's in like the very beginning module of both CyberRange and cyber community, and it just lists out a bunch of stuff that I think that you should do to kind of make yourself more employable, and then how it helps, whether it's like amplifying your goals, like the speed, or helps you pass an interview or get an interview. And then there's like varying levels of which you can complete all of the items. So for example, certification, like the S tier certification for entry level cyber, I would say like, CompTIA Security plus one other thing. And then what he's asking about is like this, there's a line item for long form content creation. And I say that it helps both get an interview and pass an interview. And then the effort/standard is to do the long form content creation at an S tier level. I kind of recommend making some like a long form content. This just means like YouTube video, for example. I recommend like making a couple YouTube videos on like NIST 861, which is incident response, and then NIST 837, which is risk management framework, and then two technical lab videos. And the reason I recommend doing this is because when you create content and when you like teach someone, like if you're doing it properly, it helps you learn the material really, really well. Like, because you don't want to be teaching stuff that's like inaccurate, and to be able to teach it requires you to have like a deeper understanding. So that's the first thing. It will help you to like articulate yourself really well when you get to an interview. And the second thing is it kind of gives you exposure, and it gives you something like tangible to point at. for like future employers and stuff. And then not to mention people can like find you and discover you this way. And it just like, gives you plus 10 trust points because they're able to like see you articulate cybersecurity ideas. And this, I know this is like kind of a big ask because it's not really easy to create content, but it helps like quite a bit. And it helped me like a lot. It just gives you stuff to talk about during interviews as well. So it's really good. And oh shit, I should probably close that. And then if anyone has like questions, about any of the stuff I'm talking about, or you have like 2 cents to add, like absolutely jump in at any point. I don't think I've heard anyone's voice yet. Can someone say something to make sure I can hear?
Hello, everyone.
My question. Thanks, Josh.
Okay, thank you. And hey, Jeff. Okay, thanks for
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing? Cool. And then did that make enough sense, Peter? Do you have any like follow-up thoughts or anything?
No, that was it. I was just trying to get a feel for what you were referring to, so I got it. No pressure, just make some videos.
Yeah, pretty much. And I tell people like they can like anything in the Cyber Ranger community is like all those are fair game. You can just literally remake any of those. The only like ask, I guess, is that you try to like make it better than what I did. Because if you do that, it just like helps you more, that's just like how I think about it. Because my video, I don't feel it's like that high quality, but yeah. Okay. And the next one is from Gerardo Sierra. Let me get this out of here. Everyone should be aiming to max out all areas of the employability framework, but what areas should an entry-level person just starting perfect prioritize over the other categories that will get them a job compared to a mid-level? So like this employability framework, this is what he's talking about. And he's saying like, we should try to like quote unquote max out all of these areas, but as a new person, like what is considered maxing out versus somebody that's a mid-level. And the employability framework and the roadmap, these 2 things are pretty much the same thing, but the roadmap is just like a really refined version of it, if that makes sense. This is like kind of more generalized, and then this is like more. And his question basically is like, what should you, if someone's like starting out at an entry-level position, what does that look like in terms of what you do versus mid-level? And the way I think about it, you kind of just have to like come up with it on your own a bit, because it really depends on the job, right? All these areas are pretty much like applicable depending on the job. So for example, if you're trying to be like, chief information security officer, for example, the certification section, this won't, like Security Plus won't be S tier, right? Like if you're trying to be a chief information security officer, maybe like F tier would be like Security Plus, and then S tier would probably be like CISSP, and then like CISM or CISA or something like this. So you just kind of have to like, if you have a certain job in mind or a certain tier of job, you can kind of manually adjust this to where it matches the job that you're after, if that makes sense. So for example, I'm making like a video pretty soon. It's called like the, 500K cybersecurity roadmap, like how to make 500K in cybersecurity. And it's based off of individual contributor jobs and being able to stack multiple jobs. So for example, I kind of defined this for consistency. I defined S tier consistency as like 8 hours of day, like 8 hours of effort per day with no 0 days. And then, CyberWire Daily, et cetera. And then this 500K certification, I recommend like, single high-end cert, single mid-tier cert, and then multiple domain-specific certs, because the whole idea is to be able to like easily get a lot of interviews and like a lot of jobs. So you have to like, become that girl or that guy, And so I guess to answer the question, it just like depends on the position. You just have to, inspect the type of position that you want to get, and then kind of retrofit this into there. But if you want help with it, you can always like DM me, and then we can create a custom roadmap. I sometimes do this with people, but I don't know if you're on the call, if that makes sense or not, if anyone has any comments or thoughts about this.
Can you go back to the question, Josh?
Yeah. Basically, he was asking, everyone should be aiming to max out all areas of the employability framework, but what areas should an entry-level person just starting perfect prioritize over the other categories that will get them a job compared to a mid-level? And then this is the employability framework, but a better way to look at it is like the roadmap. And then I just told them to address all the areas, but address them at the level like appropriate for the job that they want to get.
Yeah, that's good. I would say personally to get like a good foundation, because once you have a good foundation, you know what is it that you're aiming for. So, for example, if you can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So if you guys know exactly, because I feel like a lot of times people say, "Oh, I want to go into cybersecurity," but they don't know exactly what path to take. And a lot of times I feel like people realize what is it that they like through trial and error and kind of like going through different jobs and saying, okay, I like this job, but this job I don't like it so much. But I feel like something that can be done, and this is something that I did personally, was kind of like, hey, use ChatGPT, like you always say, to leverage that skill, that tool. And I would ask it, hey, these are the different careers within, especially since you provided a good foundation when it came to vulnerability management, SOC, right? But there's much more than that. There's threat hunting, incident and response, cloud detection engineers, and so much more. So then what I started doing is, because I've realized what things I don't like, and you will know based on your personality and what kind of person you are. I'm kind of going on a tangent, I just realized. But to answer the question, is for entry level, have a good foundation of the technical knowledge that you need. But I think I would even go before just foundations. Is kind of like knowing, is this a personal fit in terms of career and with who I want to be. I would go deeper, because I feel like a lot of people go into jobs just looking at the salary, but I feel like that's not sustainable because there's so many different ways to make money. So if you're into cybersecurity for the money, I don't think you will last. You'll probably just go to the career and then collect a paycheck, or maybe a lot of people will push through. But I feel like when you have a tight purpose with it, you can go much more advanced. But for the entry level, I would say know your foundational skills when it comes to cybersecurity. Understand IT fundamentals. Understand, because if you don't understand the IT fundamentals, what are you protecting, right? So then, to maxing everything else out, I would say focus on acquiring experience, and that's why the cyber range is here. And also long form content creation. If you don't have as much experience, to make up for it, you make content, and that's how you show that you're competent. And then obviously certifications give you that backing, and I guess practicing the communication of what the technical skills is that you have. That's how I would put it.
Yeah, that's really good. And something you said like made me realize something. When I was starting out in cybersecurity, I was like, I want to be. I literally did like what you're talking about. I googled like, what's the best salary, and it was like chief information security officer, and I was like, I want to do that. And then, but you don't even know, like, you don't even know if you're gonna like those things until you like start getting kind of close to it. And then I worked toward CISO, and I started getting kind of close to it, and I was like, that looks really bad. I don't ever want to do that. And then I just like, pivoted to something else. So like, to go on what you're saying, it's good. You should just like get a foundation and do a lot of stuff, and then you just kind of figure out like, if you like it at all, and if you do like it, you'll kind of figure out like what you like more than other stuff, and then you can kind of do that. So I agree 100%.
100%. And also, something that I did was kind of like ask ChatGPT. Okay, I would use a job description, and I'll tell it, okay, based on this job description, what would be my day-to-day activities? Because a lot of times we look at the job itself and we look at the high-level responsibilities, but we don't look at what we would do in the day-to-day. And then if whatever I'm looking at, whatever ChatGPT tells me I would do in my day-to-day is something that excites me, or at least somewhat interesting to me, then I decide, okay, this is something I want to pursue. And then you commit to that route.
That's really resourceful. Cool. Anyone, any thoughts or questions?
I have a question about the certs. So my first few years of working in IT, started studying for the A+, then I got a job in IT. So it was like, okay, I don't really need the A+ anymore. I'm already in here. So I started working on the Network Plus. So doing that, then my job transitioned into more network stuff. So I'm like, okay, I don't really need the network stuff. I'm kind of beyond that already. So I was doing the CCNA, and then I got into cybersecurity. But all of the people that I was meeting over the years, pretty much none of them had certs. They necessarily have degrees. So for me, it was, okay, well, maybe certs aren't that important if you have the experience. But now that I've been unemployed for a while, and I'm looking at all these job descriptions, and they're like, they want a CISSP for entry-level positions. I'm like, okay, maybe I should have been working on these certs just to have them. But right now I'm thinking, okay, so do I just start getting these certs and just to get them, even if I don't have a position right now? because it's like studying for the Network Plus, passing it, getting the job 6 months later as a SOC analyst, and most of it you never used, you never really stayed up with because you were focused on something else. And I don't want to say you wasted your money because you always retain some things, but it's like the majority of it, it's a good chance you'll forget. You get what I mean?
Yeah, and the way I think about like certifications, for sure you can get like some kind of knowledge from them, but I just use them as like a tool to get interviews. That's literally like all they are, almost.
Okay.
And once you like get into the interview, you notice like they don't care about your certs. They're not going to be like, "Oh, tell me about like CISSP." Like they don't even care. They're just like judging your character, you know, and seeing if you're a good culture fit at that point. So pretty much like, so for example, inside of the roadmap, this certification, I classified them as they're helpful for getting an interview. Like some stuff is classified for both,
Okay.
but they're literally for just getting interviews. And I always like tell people to like, if they're asking me like, should I get this cert? I just tell them to like go to Indeed and then search up the cert and then see like how useful it is. So for example, if I type, for example, oh my God, this thing, CompTIA security, because it doesn't understand like plus, you'll see like, 3,000 jobs come out. And if I type like CISSP, like 9,000 jobs come out. It's a good way to like judge like how useful a certificate is in terms of like getting interviews. And, if you type, CompTIA like Project Plus, this is how like it's like not really like worth getting because there's probably not going to be any jobs for it. It's like 25, right? So I would tell people like not to get that, as opposed to like, what's the other one that big PMP? There's probably a ton of jobs, like project manager professional, right? There's like 20K jobs, right? So that's kind of how I think about it. So if you want to get like certifications, to like, the whole point is to boost your employability. I would just like pick some certs that like HR actually knows about, and like the higher the tier they are, it's like better. And CSSP is like the best one because basically everyone knows about it, and it has like a ton of job hits, and it's kind of a high tier cert. But it's like a pain in the ass to get it, but it's really useful if you can have it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I think if Andrea is back, she asked an interesting question. What is your opinion on the Golden Dome for the professional tech opportunities and long haul for those that are serious about actually being advocates for tech security? You can answer this question after the spreadsheet. Oh, oops, I just read it ahead of time. But the Golden Dome is like that thing. Okay, I heard about this, right? It's like the thing like Trump wants to make over the US or something. Is that correct? Is it like a physical like missile defense thing, like a physical thing, or is he like speaking figuratively? I don't really know that much about it. If someone want to like fill us in.
Yeah, I think it's like a missile defense. I think Israel got the same type of defense.
That's correct.
Israel got the same type of defense. So Trump want to bring it to America. I think it's a good thing for jobs and for protection.
Right. And that's the reason why I brought up the question, because like the gentleman was saying earlier about those that just get into it just for a paycheck. But you have to think about those that are serious about the career. And what do you think about those that are advocates and serious about tech security and this opportunity that's coming? Well, it's already here. Might as well say it that way.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm reading this book called The Kill Chain, and it's talking about like a U.S. military operations, like geopolitics and the advancement of like, what is that, like technology as it pertains to war and like war strategy and everything. And the general public, I don't think they like understand. I don't even understand, right? But there, a lot of people like, yeah, like build a dome, but there's a lot more to it than that, because there's a lot of like information operations and like all this like crazy stuff that's going on low key that you can like ruin the country like from an economic standpoint without even like shooting missiles into it, So it's, I think, obviously some kinetic defense is really, really good, but I don't even have like enough knowledge. I know enough to realize I don't know enough to even like talk about it or like answer anything, because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that people don't know about. And a lot of people think America is like really like dominant in the space, but
And it's not true.
yeah, because people like China and Russia, like China, Russia's GDP is less or whatever, but those countries will build specifically to counter America, like specifically to counter America, and they'll just like watch what America's doing, and like China is like really good at what is that word? Well, America does this too. America is like a fucking weasel, right, on the like global scale, but China's like really good at like stealing information from America and those information operations. And
Yeah.
they will specifically build to counter like everything the US is doing with like precision. And America has like a lot of bureaucracy, like cock blocking each other when they're trying to get something done. But China like don't really have that. They'll just like do whatever they want, and they're really effective at it. So I mean, I guess a golden dome is good, but there's like a lot, the US is like in a bit of trouble, I think, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, Andrea?
Well, my thoughts are, even if there are tech professionals that get involved and take on the contracts or opportunities, this is just my personal opinion. You have to be smarter than you're in. You have to see something that's in plain sight that everybody else is not seeing. I mean, like literally. And if you don't come with that strategy or wisdom, of course, then everything will fail. I mean, but you can't, how can I say this? I'm trying to find the words, but you can't think like everybody else. You have to be literally different. And yeah, they can see you as strange and you can talk a little different. Maybe your behaviors are different, but you see what no one else can see. What was you saying about, what was the guy? I forgot his name. That's the unicorn. Paul? Is it Paul?
Viper.
Yeah, Viper.
Yeah.
So Viper, he talks differently. His communication is different, but I guarantee you, he will see something that nobody else is paying attention to and can snag it and know what to do right away. Those are the type of people that we need in the tech space, period. If they're talking about building this golden dome, they have to think outside the box. It has to really be some serious unicorns and people that are not afraid of being themselves. Regardless, they can look like, oh, he's just blowing wind. Okay, let him blow wind. But I guarantee you that one that is super strange and do something weird, I guarantee you they'll come up with an answer. And that's what a lot of people are afraid of. They're afraid of the unusual. They're afraid of the different. So never be apologetic about being different, because those type of people actually solve problems and get things done. That's what they do, period. I'm just saying. Okay, so what, you don't like to dress this way or look this way or whatever the case may be, but I guarantee you there are some truly talented and very gifted people in tech in this group. And I can say for myself, the experience I've had in this group, I have seen some very talented people that have put things out there, and I'm just blown away with the intelligence and the smarts. And I'm learning every day from everybody, not just you, Josh, but I'm learning from everybody. And it's amazing. So if America allows individuals to actually be free and creative, I really believe that America can show its true colors about the greatness that it holds already.
Yeah, I 100% agree with this. And people in government, there are some smart people in government, and they will raise the concern, but because because money or like whatever other reason, they will kind of like not be listened to, and then a lot of taxpayer dollars get wasted. So I'm hoping this like changes. I think it's slowly like changing for the better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I agree. There's a lot of people in the cyber range where I feel like, what are you doing in here?
Exactly. Because I really, to be honest with you, I didn't get into tech because of the money. I got into it because I love it. I really, and if you love what you do, the money gonna come anyway. So you don't even think about the money. I mean, if it's some creative way that you can solve a problem, do it. I don't care about the money. Provision will be made anyway. I'll put it to you like that. But
Right.
if you're very talented, man, just go for it. Even if it sounds crazy or look crazy to you, just go for it.
I agree. And then Farron, I seen your mic lit up like a while ago, but I don't know if it was an accident or not.
Oh no, I'm driving, man. I'm right moving around a little bit.
Oh, okay, sorry. Kevin Lopez. Unfortunately, some companies promote based on popularity, not merit. Social skills are just as important as tech skills. However, unicorns can get away with not being as social as they show their value. Oh yeah. Damn, there's a lot of inefficiency everywhere, but hopefully it's getting better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Golden Dome is interesting. I think a lot of new jobs will start coming up in government, and that's kind of exciting. We'll build your own business if that happens. We'll build. Oh, which one? Oh, unfortunately. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. That's actually why I made my own company. I was like, this sucks, and I just like made my own. That's literally what happened. Okay, let me get back to these questions. And by the way, anyone can like say anything like anytime. I'm just gonna like slowly go through them, but people can interrupt or share anything. So Leonard says, an old LinkedIn account for a different IT career, which was DevOps, that I tried in the past. A few recruiters did reach out to me through that account, but it never landed me any interviews nor a job. And that account has 100+ connections. Do you suggest closing it and creating a different LinkedIn account for cybersecurity so recruiters cannot see it as a scam? So I think this person's asking if they should close their account and make a new account specifically for cybersecurity. And I don't actually think that you need to do that, because I think people put everything on their one LinkedIn account. And then when they're trying to get a certain job, they just update their title to whatever that current job is that they're trying to get. And I wasn't sure, so I actually like asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said something like really similar, like don't close it, just update your existing LinkedIn profile to reflect your current status on cybersecurity. That's what I would do. There's no need to like have two LinkedIn accounts. I mean, you could, but I just wouldn't do that. It's like confusing to people. Or I wouldn't close your account and create a new one. I don't feel there's like any need for that. Jeff says, yeah, you shouldn't close it, just modify it and refresh it. Yeah, that's what I would do. You can always like update the title, and stuff, depending on like what you want to do and what you want to get. Back to the Golden Dome. Imagine if they spend the money for this Golden Dome on securing our infrastructure security. That's the real threat. Oh yeah, sorry to like flip flop on topics, but like the defense industry is like really messed up because there's a lot of money being thrown around, and the government will like put out contracts for stuff, and like people will bid on it. Like the big companies, like whatever Lockheed Martin, they'll like win the bid to develop like whatever technology, and then knowing full well that they can't do it at the budget they announced, and then they'll get like 4 years deep and like $300 billion deep into a project, and they'll be like, oh, we like need more money, and then it will like force the government to like resume the project, as to avoid sunken cost or whatever. There's like a lot of like corruption, like messed up stuff in the area, so that is a big risk. And no problem. Yeah. All right, next question from Jose de Jesus Colon. Hey Josh, thanks for the content. Are we allowed to use the available virtual machines for practicing penetration testing techniques? Just want to make sure it's within scope and doesn't violate our usage guidelines. So what Jose is talking about is in the cyber range, there are like 2 permanent virtual machines, like Windows Target 1 and Linux Target 1. And I think he's asking if you guys can practice penetration testing against those. And I'll show you here. Target, I think this is correct. So these virtual machines, Linux Target, and Windows Target, are dedicated to the cyber range, and you can do pretty much anything you want to these, because these virtual machines are exposed to the internet anyway. And all the bad actors on the internet are like constantly attacking these. So if you can break into them and stuff, and you can like actually get in somehow, I encourage you to do it if you want, and then make a post about it, and then talking about like what you did and stuff. But pretty much anything in the cyber range is fair game for anyone to do anything because it's exposed to the internet anyways. The only thing that I ask is like you don't like intentionally bring down the cyber range for like other people, you know, and like make it, let me mute this, and then, you know, inconvenience other people too much. But if you do, just like let me know and we fix it. But yeah.
Oh wait, question. Now that you brought that up, something just
Sure,
came to
sure.
mind. So
Yeah.
'cause it's related to this. So we don't need any legal authorization to do attacks on the cyber range, and then perform lateral movement. For example, get into the network, infiltrate, and perform lateral movement, and do like any cyber attacks, as long as it doesn't involve other organizations. I would assume.
Yeah, yeah. As long as you don't like intentionally mess people up or intentionally like attack. Well, it's going to be hard for you to do this, but like attack an outside entity, like you said, from the cyber range, you can pretty much do like anything you want. And there's like before you request access to the cyber range, the idea is like requesting access means that you review the end user license agreement. But this is all really like common sense stuff. Like don't, you know, all the stuff I just said. But yeah, you can pretty much do anything you want because the cyber range it's already exposed to the internet, and you know the actors are like already doing this, and it gets breached a lot. But yeah,
So as long as it's not a DDoS attack, is what I'm hearing.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like, I don't like scour the logs and be like, oh, Jeff is doing something. I won't even like do this. I'll notice like something major went down and I'll just try to bring it back up, and then I'll do like maybe root cause afterwards. And even if it's an accident, like I'm not gonna like, I can't punish people, but I'm not gonna punish anyone. You know what I mean?
No, because I have a friend that's trying to get into pen testing, and I feel like this could be a good opportunity for me to practice my SOC skills and you know, him to do pen testing.
Oh yeah, someone actually did this same scenario. They're like, my friend wants to attack my VM, and I was like, yeah, do it. Yeah, be
Sounds
fun.
good. Sounds good.
And Balraj says, hey Josh, can you please my ISC?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, can you please answer? Like, I was on the other meeting and somehow that was the wrong link. So can you answer? Like, I'm just curious. I just started the cyber range and I didn't have any certification. So I was just looking like, should I go for ISC square CCC or cybersecurity? Sorry, CompTIA certificate, security plus, sorry.
Gotcha. Is the ISC squared one, is that free still?
I think so.
Yeah, if you started doing it already, like for sure, like if you compare like one or the other, like Security Plus is like better because it has more hits on Indeed. I'm pretty sure. So Indeed, let me just like look. Let me look at this because it's free. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was just thinking like even if it's free, like if it's worth it, then I should, you know, go and try it. And if there is no like credibility or like for the jobs, then I don't know. Should I?
Yeah, if in terms of like the content of the cert is probably like pretty good. It's probably pretty good. I'm sure it's pretty good, and I'm sure it overlaps a lot with CompTIA Security Plus. And I wouldn't like, if someone is interested in getting it, especially because it's free, I'm not going to tell them to not get it, you know. But in terms of like if a human looks at it, like a practitioner looks at it, they're going to know like what ISC and cybersecurity, ISC squared and cybersecurity is. But like HR generally like doesn't know what that is, and it doesn't even like ISC squared, it doesn't even have hits on Indeed. It has like 100 job hits versus CompTIA Security Plus has like 4,000 or 5,000 across the entire US. So in terms of like, you know, which one's better, like definitely Security Plus is better because everyone essentially knows what it is. And I think it overlaps like really heavily with ISC and cybersecurity. So I would probably get Security Plus instead, but I'm not going to, you know, I won't tell people to like remove ISCs from their resume or anything like this, if this makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm reading the chat here. Okay, getting domain admin. Kevin Dunn, getting domain admin on those machines would be a nice write-up. You know, I should probably create active. This is off topic, but I think I should create like an Active Directory domain controller in the cyber range. To be honest, I think that would be like good for people. But next question. This is like in the chat. Should I get CCNA or a higher level cybersecurity certification? Background, I have Sec Plus, Network, Net Plus, Server Plus, but I'm going to school for cybersecurity. Seems like networking is hiring if I had CCNA. I have some experience working in data centers. This is for Shamar. It just depends on what you want to do, I guess. I would say like CCNA is probably like one of the best, if not the best, entry-level certification, just because literally everyone knows what it is. And I think it has more hits even than like Security Plus. So let me like look. CCNA has 5,000 hits, and then CompTIA security. I mean, it's not like a security search. Yeah, it has more than Security Plus. But CCNA is like one of those indicators. Like if you got CCNA, you probably are like pretty technical, and you can probably learn a lot of stuff like relatively quickly. And my ex-wife's first certification was CCNA, and then she got a job as a support engineer, like at a full-time position at Microsoft, making like 114K base salary just from CCNA. And her job was like not even really related to networking. It was like, you know, some cloud services. So you can get hired based off of that, you know, if your other resume and stuff is squared away. So it just depends. Like CCNA is like really good, but you know, so is like CISSP and like a bunch of other sorts. So it won't hurt you to get CCNA. This is like a bit of a cop-out answer, but does anyone have anything to add to this? Should I get CCNA or higher level cert?
Do you want a networking job? What's his name? Sorry. Shamar? I think
yeah.
it depends, because I feel like CCNA is a grade. I got the CCNA, and that's how I was able to get my first IT job. It really helped me because it's a certification that really stands out. But I would say if you're not looking to get into networking, it's not necessary for you to get the CCNA. Get the knowledge, but no need for the certification, unless you're open to networking jobs.
Hello.
Which is a must. Yep.
Hey guys. Thanks for answering the question. Yes, I am into networking jobs. I've used to work on previously, like running cables and stuff, but nothing like serious, such as like configuration. But I just want to do it just to get, I guess, like my foot in the door, or my foot back into the door. I have a couple of certs, I have some experience, but every time I talk to recruiters, they're just like, yeah, if you had CCNA, we would have hired you. Or if you had this like cloud cert, we would have hired you. I'm like, but I have these certs. Why can't you hire me now? But I guess.
Yeah, CCNA is a must then. For networking, it's a must.
Okay. Appreciate it.
My opinion.
Thanks, Jeff. And Kevin Lopez, hey Josh, would you recommend to use the CyberRange to study for AZ500 or SC200? SC200 is like really in line with the CyberRange, not perfectly, but it like really matches up, which was an accident. So you can use it for both of those, but SC200 is like more in line. I think I forget what it is, like Microsoft Cybersecurity Analyst or something like this. Yeah, both are good. You can use, the CyberRange is like, it's literally an open environment. So it's an open environment where you have admin access to your own IaaS instances or like compute. So you can pretty much like almost practice anything, but it does align really well with SC200 because SC200 is like really heavy with KQL and Sentinel and analytics rules, and then Defender for Endpoint, like all those stuff is inside of there, which is inside the CyberRange. So it works really, really well. Also, like someone was saying, CISA Plus, even like CyberRange helped them with that because of the vulnerability management component. Yeah. Okay. Next one from, I'm so sorry. Let me know if I'm like skipping around or skip someone's stuff, but Janice Brown says, I recently finished the vulnerability management labs in full and added it to my GitHub, and will definitely do the items multiple times as recommended. Are you finding it efficient to focus on doing vulnerability management labs multiple times before moving on to the threat hunting labs, or simply going through the entire program multiple times? I hope that makes sense. So basically she's asking in the roadmap, because I recommend people to do like all the vulnerability management labs and the threat hunting labs like 5 times each. And she's asking if she should just do the vulnerability management labs 5 times and then move on, or like alternate between them. In my opinion, there's some merit to alternating them because it will kind of incorporate spaced repetition instead of just like banging them all out at the same time. Like if you go like vulnerability management, threat hunting, and then back and forth, it will kind of space out similar content, which is like I guess, part of spaced repetition. And like the idea is like when you do something the first time, you'll like very soon you'll like start like forgetting most of it or like losing intuition around it, and then you'll do it again. And then if you wait, like the second time you do it, you start forgetting it like more slowly. So for example, like 3 days later, and then you do it again, and then every time you do it, it kind of makes the forget time longer, if that makes sense, or it helps you to learn it better. But if you put like some space in between the times you repeat something and then you do that thing again, it will further solidify it, versus like, this is like learning a word in Spanish and like reading the definition like 5 times in a row, versus like reading it once one day and then waiting the next day and reading it again, and then waiting it 2 days and reading it again. It tends to like solidify in your brain better. I don't know why this is. It has to do with like neurons and like whatever neuroplasticity. I have no idea, but it just tends to be better to like space stuff out than just doing it all like at once. And that's the way I learned like Japanese, among like a lot of other stuff, like by spacing it out. But for sure, if you just do them all, it's better than not doing it, at all. But it's better to space them out, in my opinion. Making the time to forget shorter is critical. Making the time to forget longer is critical. Oh, sorry, someone's talking.
Oh no, this is Janice. I don't know if you can even see me. I just wanted to officially say hello to everyone. I've been kind of lurking around here since April. Well, I purchased it, so I'm not lurking around, but I feel like for the price that you're charging, I feel like I should be like paying you money back. It's like who puts the time and attention and detail the way that you've done it? Like I took almost a 7-month boot camp that my employer paid for. Like, I'm super grateful that my employer paid for it, but at the same time, the cost that it took for the boot camp and the time, I felt like if my job would have known about, I don't know if they would even do that because they look for like universities, and I'll stop in just a moment so that way I don't ramble on, to look for like universities that have like an accreditation and things like that. But the amount of money that my employer spent for me to do that boot camp, which again, I don't want anybody to think that I'm not grateful. I'm super grateful, but I wish there was someone like in HR who really went to look at things, because you're only charging us $97 for these enterprise products. And then when I went and did my portfolio to add that, you gave us a portfolio to put together. I probably would have struggled for 2 months trying to figure out how to put a portfolio together. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I look a hot mess right now. I'm in my daughter's room. This whole setup looks a hot mess back here. So sorry, guys. And I just felt like when I started this, I felt like I was so much older than most people. Like I'm turning 43 later this year. So I also just kind of felt behind as well. But the way you have laid everything out here, you really take your time with people, no matter what questions that they ask. You don't make anybody feel like they're stupid or slow. And I have not found anybody there's some great people out here. I've seen their videos, but I haven't found anyone else online who is as detailed and is just as selfless and humble and caring and wants to help people when you don't have to. So just thank you. I appreciate it. That's all I'm saying. And I feel like I should be paying you money to do this, because $97 is like getting it for free. Thank you. And thank you. And because you are the way that you are, you have created a community of people that are just the best people that I've been in community with in a long time. Like, no matter what their age is or background or ethnicity or race. So you're a gem. That's just what I wanted to tell you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's not like stuff I think about a lot, and I tend to get like tired from work. But if people say stuff like this, like you just said, it makes me feel good. So
I don't know how I even stumbled across your video, obviously, because I was looking for cybersecurity stuff, but it's like, who is this person? You must not even be a real person. Like, there's nobody else does this. Like, the amount of money that you charge for it. And then especially once I got to the part, and I'll shut up after this, I'm sorry guys, but I just could not believe that. Like, after I did that 7-month boot camp, the boot camp cost almost $10,000. My employer had like some type of setup with this company. And if I had to pick a boot camp on my own, I don't think I would have chosen them. Like, I felt like somebody mentioned Dry a couple weeks ago. And that's how I felt. That's how I felt like the instructors were. But I gave it my best. I wrote all the papers. It was really draining. I did everything that I was supposed to do. And then at the end of it, they did give us all a free voucher to take the certification of choice. So I'm planning to do the Security Plus. So I did download the Anki deck, and I went ahead and bought that Get Certified, Get Ahead book like you recommended. But thank you. I'll shut up now.
Oh, you're good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we tried to like for like the pricing, I'll talk about this like a bit because I didn't know how to price the cyber range, to be honest. And I was trying to like figure out the best way to price it because, you know, it costs money to like on the back end, all those like stuff. And then we're calculating in our head, like, oh, okay, like what's the maximum cost like per student that it could be? And like, we didn't know. And like the original pricing was like, it was like 380 something per month. But then I started realizing that like people weren't spending that much on the back end, even though they could. It was like way less. So we just like reduce it to 97. And we just like, what did we do? Oh, also there was like another consideration. We could probably make like the same amount of money if it was like, you know, 400 a month versus like 97 a month. And we'd probably earn the same because some people wouldn't buy it, but you know, some people would, and it would like balance out. But if we do like too high, it like reduces the accessibility to people, and then it like reduces the volume, and then that's like not good either. Because like I noticed like a lot of people like trying to do this are not even like in the US, and the exchange rate is bad too. So I'm happy to hear like everything you're saying. It makes me feel good, and it's also in the end it just became accessible, and like the more people who are in it, it's like easy to keep it like cheap. And I don't think people should be paying like, you know, because people, they're just trying to like get educated, you know. And I think it's lame when people try to like max out like what they can earn from people who are just trying to like get an education. It's like very strange to me. And it's, you know, the boot camp 10K is like, I feel like that's like a lot unless you have like a really like world-class instructor or something like this.
Yeah, because some days I was so burned out, and I lied. Obviously, I'm still talking, but may you forever be blessed. Like may you never be without anything, and be blessed like 10 times over. Because I promise you, everything that I've looked at, like nobody. And I have a bachelor's degree from like years ago, because, you know, I'm like over 40, but it's in business administration. It's not like technology related at all. But all the stuff that I've gone through over the years and the money that's been paid, people just didn't really care, and they didn't put it. But I don't know how many hours it took you to put all this stuff together, but goodness, may you never be without anything. You know what I'm saying? Because you deserve.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. And it was a lot of work. I have like a staff. So I was basically like, from the technical standpoint, it took me maybe like 7 months to build the cyber range and like automation and all those. But my staff was like really supporting me a lot during that time with like content and everything. But yeah, we try to make it better, you know, so I hope more people feel like you, and then they will like, you know, introduce other people to it, and then put schools out of business. That'd be nice. Yeah, there's like one kind of bottleneck I noticed, because there's about 1,000 people in the cyber range now, and it take me probably like 3 hours a day or so to respond to all the DMs, and I can't like scale it up to like, you know, 2,000 or 3,000 people, so I'll just be like responding to DMs for like 9 hours. So that's like something, but I don't know. I don't want to like reduce the quality, so that's something we're like thinking about. But yeah, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm missing a lot of like. Oh hey, Andrea, you have your hand raised.
Okay, to piggyback off Janice's comment, kudos. Okay, but I would say prepare yourself, Josh, because that's about to happen. Because you don't understand. I mean, what she mentioned about the universities and other institutions that are charging like the crazy prices, and you have the same curriculum. And
them haters gonna come out. Them haters gonna come out.
Right, for real. But the thing is that I would wish that you would prepare yourself because you're very transparent and you take the time out. It's like your baby. Anybody treats their business like their baby. So you want to take really good care of your baby. And with that baby, you got to put on diapers. You got to make the formula and the bottles and all this extra stuff. So you want to be prepared for it and you already have a great team because I've spoken to a few of them. And with that baby, you want to also add in the extra people on that team because, when it just shoots off, you got to have a net. You got to have a couple of nets. I'm saying to catch all the fish. Because when it comes, it's going to come and you really just have to be prepared for it. That's all I'm just saying. I don't stop right there.
No, I appreciate that. That's not something I really think of or have really considered. I never considered that I would just get like a huge influx of organic users, I guess. But that's a really good point. And I think that the hugest bottleneck right now is probably me because I will personally like respond to DMs, and I think that's like helpful for people, but I don't know a good way to like scale this, and I don't know what to do. I can scale the cyber range, that's in place already. I put load balancing for like all that, but I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I would say have a quiet moment to yourself so that you can collect those thoughts and let it come to you. Because as a human being, it's only so much you can handle. You're only one person, and you got to have a team within a team within a team. And soon you're going to have to set yourself aside and let those teams handle all of that. So when you compartmentalize every group, like any business, I'm still a business owner and I understand, but when things began to grow and grow and grow, you have to sit yourself to the side and focus on the whole picture you've already created. But then you build these compartments where everybody else handle those things. So although you want to have the hands-on, sometimes you're not going to be available to us. And I'm just being honest. We can feel like we have the privilege because we were the first. Not all the time. It's going to come a time where we cannot reach you and you're not going to respond to us. You're going to have someone that is actually going to respond to those messages. And you're going to feel like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I'm abandoning them. I'm not doing this. It's okay. Because I understand how business works. You're not going to always respond directly to them. You can, I would say, to your board, you can give out your suggestions or your concerns to them, but it is going to be their job to make sure that the ship is running in a tight way. And you just rest your head, because if you keep on doing this, I hate to sound like the quote unquote, like you call TT, but I'm just saying it's the truth. If a person opens a restaurant and they get another one and another one, sooner or later, they're not going to be the ones handling things. They're going to have someone that's taking care of all of that. So you have to get yourself in a place to where you're going to have to move yourself to the side. You're going to still love and, do what you can to take care of your baby. But now that it's grown, it has to go off on its own. I'm done.
I gotcha. Thanks for saying these. It does give me stuff to think about. There's stuff I worry about. Those unique selling points is like I talk to people a lot, but one-on-one. But maybe we can like DM or something if you don't mind. I can get your like opinions on how I should handle certain things, because I don't mind doing it, but I know I cannot scale like even 3x. I can't scale like, but I don't know if I even should. I don't know. But yeah, we can talk if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thanks for.
You're welcome.
And Stephen, that's something I realized. I think I'm supposed to like release the threat hunt stuff now, but I realized that it's like happening in the middle of the live. So I think I'm sorry to people. Maybe I can like post it after the live because we have a competition, a threat hunt that's supposed to start. But yeah, I'm so sorry. I gotta post it like after we hang up this. And then hey, oh, someone raised their hand. Maurice, what was that?
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
Oh hey, how are you?
Hey, so I actually had a question as far as like the labs. Could you, as far as GRC work, I kind of wanted to gear a couple of my labs towards that to go like a little bit more in depth. And I wanted to know like what are some of the things that we can utilize as far as that is concerned? Because I even told my associate at work that I was utilizing the cyber range. And you know, my boss, he's thinking about joining it. So yeah, but I've been, you know, I told him about the threat hunting, vulnerability management, stuff like that. And I kind of wanted to see if there was any like a GRC lab like that would go with it if possible.
Yeah. So
if not, I could build it.
Yeah, there's not anything intentionally, not really anything intentionally GRC inside the cyber range, but there kind of is in like indirect way. So for example, the vulnerability management final project where we build the whole vulnerability management program, that has like GRC, a lot of GRC components in it, because we'll like do those initial draft of the policy and then getting policy buy-in from the stakeholders and revising the policy and then getting leadership sign-off and then enacting the policy. All of those are kind of part of like inside the governance and risk domain, not so much compliance. So that's like kind of something that you can do, but there's nothing really specific to GRC. Like if you, in my opinion, if you want something really like high quality and like really GRC specific, I might look up Unix Guy's GRC Mastery course. GRC Mastery by Unix Guy. His is really good, and Unix Guy is like legit. But other than that, inside of the cyber range, you could always like kind of come up with your own scenario. You just have to get like really creative about it and then just use the cyber range as like a platform to like enact the thing that you're coming up with. But I didn't make any like actual specific GRC stuff, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And that reminds me, like someone, I forget what their name was, but they're asking me about PCI DSS, like the payment card industry standard, and different like ideas of how you could practice that. And then you can for sure like come up, you can't really do this in the cyber range because it requires like too much high level like access. But if you make your own Azure subscription, you could like, you know, build a network essentially that has, you know, the normal corporate network and then the cardholder data environment and the shared services, or like, you know, whatever you're trying to do related to GRC, and then, you know, apply your like plan on top of that. There's like a ton of stuff you can do. You can always like DM me if you want to like talk about ideas and stuff. But yeah, I feel like I missed something in here in the chat. Oh, Kieran, I followed Josh's WG model to get a degree in less than a year. Now I'm getting way better hands-on experience. Oh, dope. I'm happy to hear that. And I met Kieran, by the way, in Japan, and we hung out. That was fun. Aurora, question. A few of us had issues with the VM shutting down in the threat hunting lab. When we have to send pings or downloading the packages, everyone has been great in suggesting what to do, but nothing seemed to work. I also find when I copy and paste the queries you have pre-typed, they don't work. I guess I need more context for these. A few of us had issues with the VMs shutting down in the threat hunting lab.
Hi. I'm sorry. My kids are in the background making a lot of noise, so I apologize.
You're good.
So when I copy and paste the queries that you have on the lab itself, it doesn't bring back any information, I guess, when I put it into the End Defender. Microsoft End Defender or whatever it's called. I'm not sure why it's not like understanding the query that I put in, and it's consistently like that, where I'm just like, okay, I just gotta like follow what he's putting in and just kind of listen and move forward that way. I am struggling with those items in the threat hunting. I think I've had the most issue with my VM with copying and pasting the things that you put in And even if I do it, instead of copy and pasting, I'm typing it, it actually doesn't bring me back any information.
Do you happen to have it open right now by any chance?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, nice. And then let me go to the bathroom like really fast. I'm drinking like too much liquid, so I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I came back. I hear someone like talking or making some kind of sound. Are you able to share your screen? And then can you pronounce your name? Is it just how it looks, like Rora, or am I saying it wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
If you don't,
I'll just share everything.
and then you can take time if you want to make sure to clean it up. I'm always like really nervous when I share my screen.
I don't. Let me know if you guys can see. No, I have too much going on. All right, so let me go back. And I was trying to prepare like while you were using the bathroom. It wasn't fast enough. Okay, so Windows Target one. So I'll just copy and paste this.
And then I can only see like the Google Docs sheet. Is that okay?
Really? Okay, no, that's not what I'm trying.
Okay. And then anyone else can feel free to like chime in and give your like 2 cents, because I'm not like the arbiter king of like what we're doing here.
Okay. Share everything. Okay.
I'm reading the chat right now. It's like really funny.
Why is it pulling up? There we go.
Yes. Yeah. I share that opinion, Kieran. Yeah. It's unfortunate. This is like, I don't want to talk too much shit because this is like, going to be on the internet.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. I've come to the same conclusion.
So for instance, let me just put this in here.
And Kieran, there's like me and my, I won't say who it is because this is being recorded, but me and one of my friends actually my friend came up with the theory. If you look if you Google like Boyd scam or like, on YouTube, Boyd scam, he started making videos of like the latest scams in cybersecurity. So I think he's doing that to like cover up the fact that if you Google Boyd scam, the scam reviews like won't come out. Rather, his like videos where he's reviewing cybersecurity scams come out. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like
yeah, that's really smart. Like the keywords basically, so that way if anyone Googles Boyd Cluess scam, all his videos would just come up. Yeah.
And my friend was joking when he said that, and I was like, no, I think that's actually what he's doing, and that's like quite smart, actually.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt. You guys can see the screen?
Not yet. It might be still coming through though.
Oh no.
I'll just try to. You might have to reshare it.
Oh god. Let's see if I can just. Can you see this now? No.
Not yet. There should be like the share screen button and then window or entire screen.
Nothing yet.
I saw not yet. I saw the Google Doc, but it went away.
Okay.
So many Reddit posts of people losing that. Yeah. Oh my God. His course wouldn't be a scam if it was like $200. To be honest, it would be like people would just be like whatever, and they wouldn't be talking that much shit about it. But it's like 5 figures, right, or something like this, 9 or 10K or more, something like this. God damn, bro. Yeah.
You see this? No.
No. Can anyone see this? Is it just me, or nobody can see the screen share?
Can't see anything either.
Okay.
Oh my god, I've tried everything. I tried Windows, entire screen.
You could try to leave it and come back. It might be like something is bugged with your meeting.
Okay.
If you want, we can do it offline too, or you can try to leave and come back really fast. Anything is like fine.
All right, let me see if I can.
Boyd Cluess reminds me of John Somnes. If anyone remembers some videos with little info because he wants you to buy stuff, can put less money down on. Yeah, dog, you can buy a whole ass car as well. You think about if you complete WGU in like one term, you can get 3 degrees for that amount of money. 3 degrees and like a bunch of certs. Personally, I think boot camps are a scam. These people are trying to get to jobs, don't have 5, 10K. Yeah, that's why. That's like a whole like ethical like thing, because education for the most part should be like subsidized. And I can understand the government not subsidizing creators, but I can see your screen now. If that's yours. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I can see. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So Do you want me to start like explaining stuff? Oh, can you hear me? By the way, oh, you might be muted.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Oh no, but you're asking. You're asking. What, no.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Oh, Aurora, your mic is muted.
Lord have mercy. I'm so sorry.
You're good. And then, were you talking right now?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, like, this is what I see a lot of the time. I wish I had like a better example, but I felt like this is one I could share with you right away.
No, this is really good.
Okay.
So I can kind of explain like all these stuff, like what the stuff is, and then why no results are coming out. So basically, the way, feel free to like stop me when I say something that doesn't make sense or you have questions. But basically, on the way like KQL works is there's like tables, and you can kind of think about tables as like a giant spreadsheet. So like on line 18, that device network events, that's like a table, and it just has a bunch of logs in it. In a table, it's like a spreadsheet. So you can just imagine a giant Excel called device network events.
Okay.
And then the way that you use KQL to like kind of narrow down what you want to see on the spreadsheet, because the spreadsheet it's too big, there's too much stuff, so we have to narrow it down. And we do that with statements. So on line 19, where it says where timestamp is between this time and this time, basically it's saying like, show me everything on the spreadsheet where that's like, you know, around 4 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, 4 minutes before and after a specific time. And that specific time is defined on line 17, but that time is like way in the past. I think those logs are like actually like gone out of Defender for Endpoint now. Just because it's like too long ago. And this was just like an example. So if you wanted to, you could like try to set the date like more towards like, you know, today or something like this. So yeah, like maybe for the year, put like 2025 for the year. Yeah. And then what is a month? June. You can put like 06 maybe. And then for the day, maybe like 06 or something, like the 6th of June. And then I don't know if this will work, but you can try to run the query and see if like anything comes out of this. And then some stuff came. If this makes sense, because it was looking like too far in the back for like any kind of log to exist, I guess.
Okay.
And then go ahead.
And nothing here. We just leave this as it is.
Yeah, those specific times, those are variables, which represents what's on line 17. So if you look at line 17,
yeah,
that's where you defined the time. We basically said the time of June 6th, basically.
Okay.
And then instead of typing that whole timeout again on line 19, we can just use that variable called the specific time.
Now, let me ask you, what if we're doing this here and then asking for it again? Why are we doing that? I guess. Is this, yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's just to prevent you from having to type out the long date many times. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't need the thing on line 17, but if you erase it, you just have to like type out the actual date, and it's just kind of cumbersome.
I see. And the same thing with the VM name. So
yes,
they let it equal here, and then it understands that we're talking about Windows Target 1.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And then
there was something I did on mine, and I feel like if I can show you, I just scanned something a couple hours ago, and where was it? I think it's this one on my computer. Yeah. Let me go back. Oh, use this.
Cool. Saw myself.
Yes. Okay. So here's the one, like copying yours.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that you did. Now from here, what am I supposed to do from this one? If I go back to the instruction, it says check most failed logins. What do I do now?
Oh, okay. So this, if I recall, this query is supposed to, I'll kind of explain it. So it's looking, the device logon events table. Again, you can just imagine that as a really big spreadsheet. but this one contains information about people trying to log into virtual machines. So
For
we
everyone,
are,
not for mine.
yeah,
Not-
the whole cyber range. That table, that device logon is for like the whole cyber range. And then if you want to see like only, certain IP address or something, you can use statements to kind of narrow it down to see what you want to see. So it looks like the first statement on line 20, it looks like we only want to see where the logon type is those 4 things, like network, interactive, etc. And then the next statement, we're narrowing it down even more to see only where logon was failed.
Okay.
And then the next statement on line 22, we're narrowing it down even more, where there's an actual remote IP showing, because some of the records, it might have an empty remote IP. So we only want to see stuff that actually has a remote IP address. So I would recommend, can you put your mouse at the end of line 22 and then press enter to like separate those. Yeah. And then run this top part of the query just so we can see like what comes out. You can just say run query, and then you can see, it returned a bunch of records, that has any of those 4 logon types, and then the action type is login failed, and then there's always going to be remote IP, if that makes sense so far. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then cool. And then, oh, sorry, did you have a question? I'm like interrupting you.
Was I supposed to look for my computer that's through these, since it's not specifically saying anything about my?
You can't. I don't remember this lab exactly, but we can
just yet. But this is the scenario.
Let me see. Devices. Okay, devices accidentally exposed to the internet. Oh, okay. Let me read this here. Leave it running. Oh, do not use. You can leave it running for 90 minutes. Okay, so you can either use your own device, or you can use Windows Target one. Either one.
Okay, and I use my own device, and so and with this one not particularly, having my device, should I be putting in my device name in here somewhere?
Yeah, you can. We can use a filter, or I forget what it's called. We can use a statement to only include your device name. And do you remember what your name is by any chance, or your VM? Yeah.
Windows 19.
Oh,
sorry.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, this looks good. And
then so from here, the finding is what with this particular query, I guess.
Oh, so this query, I'll kind of explain what it is. Can you go back to, and so on line 25, what this line means, basically it will look, and it will look where the action type, remote IP address, and device name are all the same, and it will count those up. This is like a bit hard to explain, but it will. Okay, go ahead and like delete the blank line between delete line 24, so it's like becomes one query. Yeah, and then just like run this, and I'll kind of explain it. So like it will look see like the action type and remote IP address and device name. So basically this is saying, like, the very first line, there's 76 instances where the action type is failed, remote IP is this, and then the device name is this. And this basically means that remote IP address failed to log into your virtual machine 76 times. And then the next line is that one failed to log into your machine 41 times. It's basically summarizing those 3 properties, if that makes sense. That's like a bit difficult, but does this like kind of make sense?
Yeah, I'm following along. I'm thinking maybe to like connect with someone on here so that they can kind of walk me through this, because I know you don't have a video on it just yet. What I did find is that the event was a hacker who implemented a script, and I actually went to that URL on the VM and found that it's a ransom attack asking for 300 Bitcoin. I think that's what I was seeing, but I try to like make sense of that. So, but the fact that I couldn't even get past like, okay, I'm pasting these queries, but now I understand like there was some changes that I had to make myself to make it make sense. So sorry, my kids.
No, it's good. And I need to like probably revamp the lab or provide some more like context to there. Because you're not the first person to like ask me about that. So I think I probably need to like fix it.
Okay. Yeah. And then with the VMs, I don't know why they kept crashing, especially when we were inputting so we would go to the VMs, implement the script, and then go back and ping it. And then we go back to Microsoft Defender to isolate it, and then it would crash. And then I would try to regain access back here at Microsoft Defender. It just wouldn't allow me to even log back into my VM. So I think a few people had some problems with their VMs crashing. Someone suggested like making sure the NIC is none instead of basic. But for me, what I found was instead of doing Windows 10 and then even doing Linux, I did Windows 19, which went a lot faster, downloaded the package. I went through all that process, but this time I was able to still retain my VM. The VM did shut down. It took me a second, but went back into Defender, unisolated it. It wasn't as smooth as yours, basically. It wasn't.
You weren't doing it at night. Were you like midnight or something like this?
No, typically I'm here in the morning, afternoon. Sometimes I am here at night as well, but.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe when it crashes, do you know what happens, or it just like doesn't work? You don't see like an error or anything?
Nope, it just automatically crashes. This has been on for a while. I didn't have any problems when I was doing the vulnerability project. I only started to have problems when I started doing the threat hunting and implementing the script from the internet that you gave us, and then pinging it. Pinging it was the issue because I couldn't get back into my VM. I had to delete it. It was frustrating a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry about those. A lot of the stuff that, well, not everything. I don't want to like absolve myself of responsibility, but a lot of stuff in the cyber range. Well, the cyber range is like quite realistic because we're using like enterprise platforms. So like a lot of the stuff that you'll see here, you're likely to see it in real life, like when you go out and start working.
Yeah.
Not everything though, because I have to like do some stuff. But I'm interested to see. I guess like next time it happens, if you can DM me, hopefully I'll like see it in time.
Okay. Maybe a screen recording. I think it's called Loop something, where you can record the screen and share that. So I'll try to do that.
Oh yeah, Loom maybe.
Loom. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I hope somebody got some help through this as well.
No problem. And then about the KQL, like you can always DM those to me, and then I'll try to do like a full breakdown and explanation of it. It just takes like time to get used to like what's happening and stuff. And there's a lot to it, so don't hesitate to DM me about those.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
I'll stop sharing.
Someone's hand was raised. Or am I tripping? I can continue going through like the questions, unless anyone has anything they want to like ask or anything. Oh, I've been missing the chat. I'm sorry. Let me see. Let me look. What have I been missing? I found some PCI DSS video. Chris says, question, I'm in the vulnerability management section and will be finishing up soon. I noticed you have a security engineer section coming out in a few months. Can you briefly describe what you'll be teaching in that section? I'm highly interested. Oh yeah, for sure. Let me share my screen, although I'm not sure how useful that will be. So I'm gonna share my screen. So the question was like, I basically have a security architecture and engineering course coming out, and he's asking like what's going to be inside of there. And then can you guys see my sharing? That's what this is right here. I talk about this sometimes in the lives. Basically, like this course is going to be obviously security architecture and engineering, and then what architecture and engineering is. Basically, it's going to talk about how I architected the cyber range and then how I engineered it. And then architecting, someone please like correct me if my take on this is wrong or if you have like a different one, but like architecting is when it's like you're tying like you're making business requirements for a system where you outline like the stuff that you need to do, like what you plan to do. So for example, architecting the cyber range, it looks like, oh, here we go. Basically like identifying business goals and drivers. Like I want to make it an environment where people can practice hands-on cybersecurity with like live enterprise tools, for example. And then we design like pricing and like the regulatory and compliance around it. And then I'll do like a risk assessment and threat modeling of the thing I'm trying to build. And then we talk about those like really high level requirements of the cyber range for like, for example, like I go over the network topology and like all this stuff from like an architecture standpoint. So for example, this is like really shitty and it's going to be better when it comes out. But I just talk about like the stuff that needs to be in place, like the tenant and the subscription and like the requirements in terms of like what people are like allowed to do, like from the outside. They're supposed to be able to like breach it, but once they breach it, they shouldn't be able to launch attacks outwards. So we have to we architect it to like meet these requirements, etc. And then the whole architecture thing is just defining stuff at like a really high level. I don't necessarily go into like the technology and stuff that's used to actually do it. But then once the architecture document is complete in the course, there'll be like a second part, which is the engineering part, which is where we choose like the actual technology that we use to implement and like how we actually implement the stuff, if that makes sense. And the engineering part will cover like literally everything, like all the IAM stuff for the cyber range, like the logging and like the automation on the back end and like the scripting and like all of those stuff that makes the cyber range function. And like the idea behind this course is you should have like get some better intuition of how to architect systems and like everything that goes into it. And then you should at least be able to like engineer the cyber range. That is like implement everything that makes the cyber range. And then you should be able to, build your own cyber range essentially, like if you wanted to for some reason, right? It will be like a bit difficult because I don't expect everyone to just be able to procure Tenable, but technically you could technically build your own cyber range and then use our instance of Tenable as well, but it's just there's implications to that. But yeah, to answer your question, it's just basically like how I architected and engineered the cyber range, and then you should be able to like basically replicate everything and then have some more cool stuff on your resume. But I don't know if you have like specific questions about it, but that's basically what it is. That's going to be a great course. I hope so. Oh, sorry about the squirrels. I don't know why I'm using squirrels, to be honest. Generally, let me see. Justin Butler. Generally, how much would this cost to implement in a small office, home office environment? Do you mean like the cyber range, Justin?
Yeah, just like how you were like setting everything up, like just the cyber range in general.
Oh, it's like really cheap, actually. It's almost $0 until you start like having virtual machines running. So I can say like the cyber, let's see. When I was building the cyber range, it didn't have users on it. I think I was spending about like $600 a month, but it's because I have like a relatively strong scan engine, like a strong virtual machine for the scan engine, and I just kind of left that thing running, and it was expensive. But if you don't do that, it'll be like less than like $20 a month probably, just because all of that stuff is pay as you go. Like, and how can I say, like the virtual machine is a pay as you go. So if you just turn it off when you're not using it, it's fine. And then when you turn the virtual machine off, you stop getting charged for like Defender for Endpoint and like log ingestion and like all of that other stuff. So it's like really, really cheap if you don't have any users. Yeah. Currently, I will say like the cyber range, like right now, in terms of like pure like cash dollar cost, it's about like $7,000 a month. Even we have like there's like 1,100 members in the cyber range, but there's probably about like 700 people actively using the cloud platform, and that ends up being like about 7K, which is like it's not that bad for the amount of users who are on there. But we have like a lot of optimization as well, which I'll cover this optimization in the course. But like turning the virtual machines off at midnight and like all of this other stuff. But yeah, not too expensive. And then,
can you pay that with a credit card?
Yeah, I do, and I get Amex. Yeah, it gives you points.
Dude. Yes, that's exactly where my brain went. Like 70K of expenses. If I could have that.
Yeah, 7K. I'm sorry, not 70. 7,000.
Oh, okay. Then still.
Yeah, seven. Goddamn, that'd be a lot of points. That's a lot of cash.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can like. Well, I don't know if I should be like showing that to everybody. I was gonna be like, let me look at the spend. I think it must be like deep into like 30K by now or something like this for like the total spend. I haven't looked at it for a while, but yeah. And this is like, I'm going off a bit of a tangent here, but the video that I'm making, it's kind of like for fun, like how to make 500K in cybersecurity. It's just kind of a fun video. I don't expect people to do it, but one way to like make experience for yourself is if you, it's weird if everyone does this, but if you make a cyber range, right, and you get people to use it, like you don't have to make money on it. If you do, that's dope, but you can build the cyber range and build a product. You can copy mine and then, you know, pay people to use it, or let them use it for free or something. And then that counts as experience, because it's like not exactly easy to run a cyber range. And then you're doing like quite a bit of like architecting, engineering work, and then continuous like maintenance on it. It's like kind of a lot. And that's like a good way to make experience. And then you can put that on your resume, right? And then, you know, do it under your LLC, and you can talk about it in interviews. And like that's like a way to get kind of free experience as well, which I'll make some content on that later. And that's kind of a way to fast track yourself into like engineering positions, because you are engineering. You don't have to like make money off of a project or a product, I guess, to have it count as experience. So that's like something, you know, that you could do. And the whole like making 500K thing, that's just doing multiple jobs. And like the whole idea is your resume is like so good, it's just like really easy for you to get interviews, and then, you know, etc. But I'm talking about a lot of stuff and getting ahead of myself. But
talking about multiple jobs, like overemployed.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, it's a video that's coming out, but basically like I came to those like crossroads where I could have gone like the overemployed route, and I could get like 4 jobs, and I could still have staff to like support me and like help me to do those things, or I could just do my own product and then make money that way. Because the amount of work that I'm doing now, I can do probably like three or 4 normal people jobs. How can I say, like 3 normal jobs, you know, instead of doing like a whole business. It would require staff support still, but it's just like it's just another way to make a lot of money. If you don't want to do like, you know, a traditional business, you can do entrepreneurship out of having a bunch of jobs and just have staff supporting you. That's like another way to do it, I guess.
I see a lot of people on there, the overemployed subreddit, they'll do that contract to contract, like kind of what you're saying, like find people that are able to do the workload and then get a contract to contract role.
Oh yeah, if you can do that, that's cool as well. Like the person is just working on your behalf or something.
Yeah.
Does the employer know about this, or is this like they're like low key doing?
For those, like I'm pretty sure they're setting up their own LLC or some sort of S corp and then doing contract to contract.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's dope. Somebody said, how do you afford it though without charging? That's the real question. Yeah, it just depends. Like, you know, if you just want to generate experience for yourself and you're not trying to make money, I would, you know, do, for example, like whatever, DoorDash until you have like $3,000 or something, and then just have it be a project where you just like fund it for like, you know, 6 months or something like this. It's kind of like buying your own experience for 6 months, because it you know, it's like a pain in the ass. It's like a job to get customers, right? You have to do marketing and like all this stuff. And if you're just trying to get experience, you know, you could just like brute force it by just paying the customers to use your platform so you can get experience. That's just something that I would do if I wasn't trying to do entrepreneurship and I wanted to get experience. I would do that. But yeah,
that's smart.
You wouldn't.
That's smart.
Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, that's really good. That's really good. No, like you point. It's kind of like you're eating up the costs, but it's kind of like you're investing in it, investing in yourself. So then you'll get a return on it eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Because some people, like, you know, I will tell them like, come to the cyber range, you can get experience, but like I'm getting money in this case, and some people, like, you know, they're immediately dubious of me, you know, even though it's like not that much money. So you can for sure certain you can do it on your own. It just might cost more and it might take like more time, but it's definitely, you know, something that you can do. Hey Robert, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I got a quick question. So when you found your employees, did they come through the cyber range, and what were you looking for when you employed them?
Yeah, so it was really gradual. The first person I hired was Artisa, and I just needed like help with like editing and doing some other random stuff. So, and she was my friend, so I just, she's there. So I just asked her to help, and then she did, and then we just been working together. And then we gradually, like, basically like, what happens is you'll be doing a lot of work, and then you'll notice like a bottleneck somewhere, like for example editing or script writing or some other bottleneck that it takes you too long to do it, but it's something that you could pay someone else like not that much money to do. And then so you'll like hire that person to alleviate the bottleneck. So let's see, where did I find? I found some people on like onlinejobs.ph, which is like a job board in the Philippines. So basically like what I did for editing was like one of the big bottlenecks. So I posted like a job posting there, and then to apply to it, they just had to edit a short form video for me, and then I'll pay the people who edit it, like, you know, first it will be like a competition, and the best person will get like hired or whatever. And then but like second, third, fourth, fifth place, etc., like I'll give them some cash, so it's not like a total like waste of their time. And then so if they get second place, you know, they don't get a job, but they'll like get some cash anyway. And then I'll hire people that way. And then eventually I hired somebody. It was like one of my friend's employees. It was like a lot of drama. I didn't mean to like steal their employee, but like a lot of drama happened, and that guy ended up working for me, which was Ken. And through him, I just hired like a bunch of other people like through him essentially. And I always hire people based on like some bottleneck being in place, and then it ends up working that well. It ends up working out well. But the problem with that is a lot of times with like startup and small business, like a job will kind of like go away, and then that person's like the stuff that person was doing, like we don't need it anymore. So instead of like firing the person, I will like usually like retrain them or like have them do something else or something like this. But I don't know. I talked like too much, I think. Oh, you have your hand raised still. What's up? Oh, you put it down. Did I answer your question though?
Yes, sorry about that.
No, you're good. And then feel free to like, I can talk about that a lot. So if you have more questions, absolutely. And you can DM me too. And then, hey, Jeff.
As you're talking, you're giving me ideas. And I have a question, right? If you were to, it's kind of, I'm guessing, I don't know if you get this question a lot, but if you were to start out, what opportunities do you see in the market, or specifically within the industry of cybersecurity, for example, for something like content creation? If you were to start over from scratch, how would you approach it differently now that you have the knowledge that you currently have?
I would have probably, I would probably do like, I would probably do a lot of the same stuff, because my content's good, because a lot of it is actionable with like it's not a lot of fluff. But I probably would have niched my channel down more, because currently the channel, there's like WGU mixed in with like cybersecurity, mixed in with like other like random stuff or whatever, and mixed in with interviews, and the audience like doesn't know what they're going to get or whatever. So I probably would have narrowed it down more, and I would have had like a separate channel for those like WGU stuff instead of like mixing it all together, because my algorithm is like messed up right now, if that makes sense. So I would have done the same stuff, but I probably would have made like 3 channels probably.
So niche focus. So one education, WGU, one cybersecurity, and another IT. That's what I'm hearing. Or not?
Yeah,
really?
Something like this. Yeah, like one general education, one cybersecurity, and then one probably just like Josh, whatever I want to talk about. I would have done that.
And then operationally, no, you were saying?
Because like I feel like a lot of people, some people can get away with like doing like everything, like Joe Rogan, for example, because like people like his personality or something. But I'm like a kind of INTJ, like heavy analytical, and I don't have that colorful of a personality. So people usually will watch me for like the quality of, you know, whatever I'm saying. So it's hard for me to get away with like mixing a bunch of, if that's how I feel. I don't know if that's like accurate.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And in terms of monetization, is it better to do more niche? And like, for example, how long, for you personally, how long did it take you to start making profit or revenue, bring in revenue with content?
From AdSense, it took me like 5 months. Okay, I have 2 channels. Like the first channel, which is the one that people know me for, it take probably like 5 or 6 months to get monetized, and that was just like YouTube monetization. The second channel, we have a second channel. I don't know if people know about it. It's like a video essay with like high quality edits. That monetized in 5 days. We accumulated a bunch of videos and just released them all at once, and it just monetized like right away. It doesn't make like a lot of money because we're not focusing on that channel, but it monetized fast. But I will say that the amount of money I get from YouTube from like AdSense it probably like 2% of our total revenue. It's like quite low. So people, you shouldn't be monetizing. Well, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but your AdSense should be like a really low portion of like where you get your money from if you're like doing those like stuff right, if that makes sense.
So most of the monetization, I mean, now it's different. Now you have a cyber range, so affiliates through the cyber range. But before that, I'm assuming sponsorship.
Yeah, I don't really like doing sponsorships because in my
Affects your
opinion,
brand. It affects your brand.
yeah, it does. Unless it's like a really like tight like match, like it has to be really good, but that's really rare. So I've done probably less than 5 in my life, and like I don't like doing it because it's it's just really annoying, and like they're like wanting revisions, and they don't care about your brand. It's just like really annoying to do them. So it's much better to have your own product because you can like make a tight fit with your niche, and not to mention it's your own product and you get like all of the money for it essentially. It's just like, but it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work to like maintain a product and like build it and all this stuff. But I see you have like a high-end mic. Are you a YouTuber or like some kind of creator of some sort?
No, I love music. So I got this years ago. So I play piano. I really was into production, making music with FL Studio.
Damn. Okay.
So
That's dope.
yeah. But I'm actually I'm considering doing YouTube on the side.
If you do that, you can ask me literally. I'll tell you literally everything and show you like whatever you want. And I don't know if it helps, but we can do like a collab or something to bootstrap your channel. I'm not that like popular on YouTube, but you just let me know if I can help something.
I would appreciate that. No, thank you.
Yeah, and it's good because you can make a lot of money. It's a lot of work, obviously, but it's like I prefer it to like doing a normal job. It's like kind of freedom, but kind of not at the same time.
It's not free. It's freedom in the sense that you have less time available, but at the same time, it's kind of like you're making the money when you're not working. In a sense, you're building for something bigger. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and it's good because you can do like what you're doing like pretty much anywhere you want. So for example, like I'm not trying to like flex or anything, but I don't know if you can see this, but can you see this friggin' castle outside?
Where is that? That you're in Thailand?
I'm in Osaka in Japan, and this is like an Osaka castle. There's a moat. Yeah, it's really crazy. So that's the good part, because even like I'm working like 12 hours a day or some crazy ass thing, I can just go to somewhere like this, and it helps like reduce my stress and like balance out those overwork symptoms, I guess. And a lot of people, like when I start getting more money and like doing business and stuff, before I was like, I'm gonna have STI and like a Lambo and like all this like stuff, but after I start like making money, like all those like my extra money like goes into like comfort and time management and stuff. So just for the sake of being able to work more, it's like really funny. But yeah, I prefer this to like normal work where I have to go to the office, because like I don't know.
I'd rather cry in a yacht than in a Prius,
What's that?
No, it's like if you're going through it, it's always better to cry in a yacht than a Toyota Prius.
Oh yeah. It does help. A yacht. I don't think I'll ever have a yacht. The only thing I think that could make my life more convenient is if I could use private jet, but that's like really expensive, and I don't think I'm not even willing to make that much money where I can use a private jet, because every like whatever like next stage in life, a lot of sacrifice happens. Like I lost a ton of friends already, and like I lost a lot of stuff. You gain a lot of stuff too, but I know like the next level, there's going to be like another sacrifice and another one, and I'm not really willing to like make more money than I'm making now, because I'm not willing to like see what the next sacrifice is going to be, if that makes sense.
Sounds like you become a vlogger for traveling.
What was that? Sounds like a travel vlog.
Yes, I think it'll grow really quickly. That'll be your next or side hustle.
Yeah. It'd be kind of fun. It would be fun to do. It would be fun to do that. I would have to pay someone to do it, because I'm pretty much exhausted all the time. It's like really hard for me to like take pictures, because when I go outside, I just want to like not think about anything. So if I had someone to just, maybe I can have the staff to like do Instagram or like take videos or something. I don't know. It seems fun. Kevin says, Josh, do you find the quality of life and personal happiness is better in Japan. Yeah, it's way better. In the States, this is just my experience. People are like generally, their baseline in the States toward me is like generally like pretty rude. And I just get treated really bad in the States. I don't know why that is. Oh, someone's DMing me. Yeah, and then Japan baseline here, people are just generally nice to me. And same with Thailand, they're just generally more nice for some reason. And I don't even like, I don't want people to like kiss my ass. I just want like a very baseline level of interaction with people. And I don't get it in the States. And it's just really weird. My mom is here right now. Actually, she came to visit me and she was surprised. She's like really blown away by Japan because people are just like generally rude for some reason in Washington State. I don't know like why it is, but yeah, not to mention I have like no chance of being randomly killed by police and, you know, other people who have firearms here because there's like no guns here. But yeah, Shamar said, what kind of IT jobs are remote? Almost any job can be made remote in IT. A lot of people like they'll be like hybrid or require you to come to office. But if you're like a super ultra rock star at work, they'll pretty much let you do whatever you want as long as you keep, you know, giving what you're giving to them. They'll let you get away with a lot, which happened to me. Oh, here. I'm sorry, your hand is up. I didn't notice.
Where do you see yourself with the cyber engine 5 to 10 years?
I don't know. I don't even think that far ahead. The one of the things I'm like really concerned about is reducing my workload enough for me to be able to properly maintain the cyber range, because I'm getting a bit behind and I would like to keep it like up to date. For example, I want to like properly incorporate some stuff with AI as it pertains to the industry, not just like some random stuff, but like something actually useful, because people like really worried about AI and like that's a thing. And I also want to like incorporate like some more like high-end tools. Like I'm interested in trying to use CrowdStrike, like their EDR platform and some other stuff like this that is really popular in the industry. I basically just want to make it better and keep maintaining it, and then keep the accessibility really high for people outside of the US. But I don't know what's going to happen. Like if somebody comes along and offers me like a stupid amount of money, I might let them have it and then just like start another project and like try to, you know, bring everyone to that project if they want. But I don't know, other than just trying to like maintain it and make it better, I don't really have like much plans, I guess.
And are you taking advantage of those the taxes that you get overseas? You know,
Yeah. For people who don't, you're talking about like if you're outside of the States for like 11 months out of the year, you get like you don't have to pay federal tax. Is that the thing you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So if people don't know, like if you work outside of the States, even you work like a US based job, if you don't stay in the US for 330 days like consecutively, you don't have to pay federal tax on like the first 120 or 30K or something of your salary, which is quite significant. Like I was outside of the States all last year, and then I got refund of like almost $30,000. It was like 28.5K or some crazy chunk. And that's like a whole ass work trip for 10 people or something like this. So if you get even like, you know, 60K job or something, if you manage to stay outside of the US, you save like, it becomes like a 90K job or 80K job or something like this. It's like really significant. And taxes are theft. Like literally, if they appropriated the money properly, it wouldn't be theft. But because it literally goes to waste, probably more than half of it is considered theft, in my opinion. Taxed on what you make, what you spend, the money and investments, your properties paid for. Yeah, dog. If the tax is used well, I'll be like, okay, like, you know, the Scandinavian, like in Denmark, they know how to like appropriate the taxes, right? But the US, they don't know how to deal with it. Oh my God, I'm getting political. I hope you guys don't quit the cyber age.
No, I agree with you. I feel like people see things objectively. They would agree. Right or left, they're all bad.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bipartisan topic, or how can I say? Everyone thinks so. Everyone don't bring up politicians and you're good. Oh yeah, I don't even know about politicians, to be honest. I feel like it's like all the same almost. Oh shit, it's 10 a.m. Okay, we're at time actually, and I have to start the threat hunt too. I'll hang up the call and then like do that now immediately. Some jobs, Leonard says, some remote jobs require the applicant to reside in the same city. Is it possible to is it possible to breach that, making it look like you're in the same city? What I would do, well, I would either get like a hardware VPN or something, or I would use like an actual virtual machine, like in that region, so, and only work out of that virtual machine if that's possible. It just depends on like the setup and like what you're allowed to do, but hardware router would probably be good. But just mitigate your risk, manage your risk, and like don't get fired. And if you decide to like break rules, just make sure you have like a lot of cash, so you can have a cushion while you're looking for your next job. But yeah, thank you everybody. This was a really good call. I appreciate it. I maybe I didn't get to like all the stuff in the spreadsheet, but I'll try to like answer those in the forum. But yeah, DM me and everything, and we'll see you guys next week. And thanks so much. And then I'll stop the recording. Thanks, CJ, for starting it.